In the previous video, we had a look at the basics of an application security group. If you want to revisit, the link would be somewhere at the top, and I'll paste it over there. And in this video, we'll look at a demo, like how this actually works, how the network security group or the application security group complements each other. So what we'll do is basically create two VMs. We'll consider one VM as the server and the other VM as the database server, right? So let's create those VM right now. Okay, I'll create a new resource group. I'll name this as the ASG-RG. I'll give the name as server VM. I'll leave the region as is. I don't want any redundancy. Let the security type be as is. I'll change this to a Windows machine. Let's say 2019. Okay. I'll leave everything as is. I'm not going to change anything over here. I'll leave the network NIC network security group as the basic one. We'll go to the management. We'll go to monitoring. Leave everything as is. Advanced tags. Review and create. Let it validate. Okay, so the validation has passed. I'll create it now. Okay, since this is getting created, let's go back and create the other ones. Okay, we'll go and now create the database VM. I'll create a different subnet group. I'll accept the range as is. Okay, save this. That's Okay, that's gone now. Alright, we'll keep it advanced. Okay, so this is going to create a new database ASG. Okay, let's go to the management, monitoring, noise, thanks, and create this. So if you go back to our server VM, you can see this resource is created. And if we go to the network settings, okay, so you can see the server VM NSG is what is assigned to this. And if we look at this one, you can see these are the default rules which is there, and which allows the connection between allows you to the connection to flow within the virtual network. So let's try to connect to this. Actually, let me try and open the other VM as well. I have my server VM and the database VM open side by side. Both these servers are working. So you can imagine that this server has, or the server VM has, all the server components, and database VM is where the database is installed. And right now, since I've not changed anything in the NSGs, the communication between these two is it will flow through without any issues. So let's give it a try. So what we'll do is basically go back to the database VM, which is the database VM NSG here. We'll go to the overview. We'll pick the private IP from here, which is 10.0.1.4. See, we'll go to our So you can see it's basically allowing me to connect to my database VMs. You can see the name here, which says, the name of in the certificate of the remote computer is database VM. If I say yes, I'll be able to connect, and you can see my session has been disconnected from this. Okay. Now, okay. So what I've done is basically added a rule so that it denies, any communication within the virtual network itself. And now if we go back to the server, to the server VM, and if we try to connect to the database VM, you can, if I click connect now, you can see it's not able to find any connections. It's not able to find the IP address. It's trying to connect, but it's not able to find that path. So that's how basically you can enhance the security by restricting your connection within the virtual network itself, within the subnet to subnet. And now if we go back, okay, since we have denied any we have included a rule so that there is no communication within the virtual network. Now to initiate the connection, what we have to do is basically add individual IP addresses of those machines which should be able to connect to this database. So let's say I go back, I add a rule here which says IP address. Let's get the private IP address of this server VM. We'll go back, we'll add the IP address here. We'll specify the source port range, let it be S star, and then again we'll specify the IP address of this machine, which is 10.1.4. Okay, we'll specify if this is an RDP2 and prioritize. Okay, let's add this. I'll change the priority of the other one so that so we'll wait for a few minutes. Let's see. Yeah, so there you go. So So now once I have included the IP addresses of the database and the server, now it's basically allowing me to access the server or the database VM. It's allowing me to connect to the database VM. Previously it was not even able to give me this screen, the enter the credentials screen. So that's how basically, imagine now if you have 4 to 5 VMs, if you have to connect everything to the database server, then you probably have to go back, add all the IP addresses to the NSGs, and that's how you can basically configure each VM to connect to your database server. And to simplify this is where you can use the application security group. So if we go back, we'll remove this setting. Okay, now I'll basically check for application security groups. Go. We'll create an application security group. ASG. The name would be exception Central US VM create. Okay, so once this is created, what I'll do is basically go to the server VM, configure the application security group for the server VM. There you go. You can see it is showing me it's part of the resource group. I'll add it here. Okay, and now if I go back to the database VM, close this. Let's go to the database VM. Let's go to the network settings. Let's click on the network security group, and if we go to the inbound security rules, add a security rule here which says the application security group. You can select which application security group it is, which is the VMS exception. The source port range, let it be like this. The destination is your IP address, which is going to be 10.0.1.4, and this is going to be the RDP. Port is 3389 TCP, and I'll make this with 100 as the priority. Add this. Okay, we'll wait for some time. And now when we try to connect, there you go, I'm connected to my database server. So that's how easy it is. Now you can add those security groups to any number of VMs, and you just have to configure the NSG only once, and that way it's always any number of VMs that you make it part of the ASG will always be able to access the database server. Thank you.